Hey guys, it's Blair here at Time Trades. I'm doing something a little different this weekend. I've decided, based on my own opinion and the opinion of others that I trust, to focus a little bit more time and effort on those who have committed more to Time Trades, that is, those who have signed up for a paid subscription. So this video is only going to be released to those with a paid subscription. So I want to thank you guys. We're going to call this the Time Trades Premium video, for lack of a better term. And this is going to be the video where I don't hold back and just kind of use all the crazy ideas and tools that I've got in my head and at my fingertips, and use that to try to come at a logical approach to the markets for the next week. All right. So first off, I want to thank all you guys for subscribing to Time Trades and offering your guidance in that on how to evolve the service. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so what are we looking at here? This is NQ Futures daily chart and the forecast yellow line from last week. I guess I'd give myself probably a B for this one. You know, directionally it was mostly correct. We got the pump. We didn't get the magnitude of the pump, but you know, C plus, B minus, around there. Definitely did not get the magnitude of it up here, but I guess in hindsight, I really should have paid a little bit more attention to this cheat code purple, because we all know cheat code purple is pump and dump. And that's exactly what we got on August 24th, the day after NVIDIA earnings. So cheat code purple outworked there. Always interesting to see this right around a white magic level too. Okay, so there's a little bit of ambiguity here, and I'll try to sort this out. And I'm going to use Venus intervals to sort this out. But for now, let's just try to describe the ambiguity that we're seeing. I'm putting a lot of emphasis these days in my analysis on Gann Fans. You can just see on a 30-minute just how well price was contained by these fans in the descent. So, oh my goodness, TradingView, you just moved the fans on me. Okay, so this is really annoying about TradingView. How, like, right before this video, I went and moved these fans so they were in the right place, like right up there where they're supposed to be. And then I dropped down into go to daily, go to 30-minute, back and forth a couple times, and TradingView decides to totally move it around on me. All right. So anyways, let me try to make the most of this here, because I don't want to go and spend more time moving these around, because frankly, I don't trust TradingView. That's roughly where they were. Yeah, I think it was maybe a little bit higher, like right around here. That's kind of how I remember it being last week. So anyways, you can see how well price was contained by these fans. And you can pretty much trade by the fans alone, right? With every touch on the upper fan, assume rejection, put a stop a little bit above as a buffer. With every touch or near touch on the lower fan, again, assume support. And if you did that, you would have participated in this entire move down here. Now, I tried to play that here and got burnt a little bit on this big move up. Now, in hindsight, of course, always being 2020, Scorpio Moon had a role to play. You can look at the whole change in tone of the market as the Moon left Virgo. You know, and this last bit of the dump here was a combination of Moon, Mercury, and Venus in Virgo. So, or was it Mars? I can't remember. It was 3 planets, anyways, in Virgo. And yeah, you can see the result of that here. And you can also see the relief rally once the moon left Virgo. Very, very interesting. Scorpio can deliver some big trend days. On day one of Scorpio, it did not. Day two delivered. And it also delivered in conjunction with this cheat code purple up here, which is a local peak in true node speed. Okay. And then again, another moon sign change combined with this perfect tag of Gann fan up here. And we got a rejection, right? So then, of course, we got a huge sell-off. And then just to make things extra confusing, we closed right above this green descending Gann fan. So this might look like crazy price action, but with the advantage of Gann fans here, putting a little bit of structure in the market, it's a little bit easier to interpret. A couple of other things I'm noticing here is this weekend, we've got Gann Wave Blue. So that's peak southern lunar declination, right? So often those correlate with price extremes. And if we bop back to a daily, we can see how the Gann waves inverted. We had a high over here with the Gann Wave Blue. Here it is, July 31st was the last Gann Wave Blue. That was a high. And it inverted. I thought we were going to get a second inversion here and a recovery. We did not. Instead, prices continued down, and it looks like we're going to get that blue to blue move completing on Monday. And then on the 29th, Tuesday, or is it? Yeah, no, it's going to be the 28th, which is Monday. We get the moon in Aquarius. So let's go down to 30 minutes. And the moon entering Aquarius kicks off the more positive half of the lunar signs. So that's a reason to be bullish next week. Then later at the end of the week, we've got Aries. Capricorn, of course, is buried mostly on the weekend, which is good if you're a bull. Capricorn has a tendency to be kind of bearish. So we may get a little bit of a drop on Monday morning as the effect of the last bits of moon in Capricorn and the Gann Wave Blue hits. But then the lunar signs go positive, okay? Also looking ahead here, if we flip over to ES, I did sketch out another set of Gann fans here on the Telegram chat. And you can see here that ES is resting just above this 1x1 down here that started in May. So this is a significant spot. This is big support here for the S&P 500 futures. So for this reason, I'm reconsidering the forecast, and I think I'm going to give it a little bit more of a bullish bias going forward. You can see this yellow line here is the forecast arrow. You can see it going down from last week's video, and I'm going to reconsider that for those reasons. You know, we've got positive lunar signs. We've got the completion of this Gann Wave Blue. We've got ES comfortably finding support on the top of its 1x1, which is expected. And we've got the NQ closed above this Gann fan here. But there's other reasons as well. So let me show you those. I told you I was going to talk a little bit about Venus intervals. So let's do that now. Okay, so let's go and clean this up a little bit. I'm going to turn off these Gann fans. Okay, yeah, that might be the problem. These are the right Gann fans. These are the wrong ones. All right. I'm just going to delete those. And I'm going to hide those. And I'm going to change the settings here to focus on Venus intervals because that's what we want to see. All right. So here's our Venus intervals. Now, the thing that makes me cautious, of course, is, if we zoom out here to a weekly, interval one, the last time we were in interval one was over here in January 2022, and we had that big flush down. So interval one, tends to be like a continuation of a prior pivot, right? So last time we were in interval one before that was coming out of the COVID low, prior pivot. 6 was a zoom up. 1 was a continuation of that. Last time before that, we had 2018, August. We had a pivot high here in September 2018, and then interval one continued that. So you get the point, right? It seems to be a bit of a continuation. And this is one of the things I absolutely love about Venus intervals is it captures these different price regimes. It's really is like, a super accurate way to capture the different personalities of the trend. So interval one in this case is going to extend through the end of October. Remember, this is a weekly chart, okay? So I just zoomed out a little bit to weekly to give you a sense of the incredible capabilities here of the Venus intervals. But let's zoom into daily, and I want to show you this little trick that I discovered. So let's go and take a look at some Venus interval subdivisions. So I've got two flavors of subdivisions. I've got fib ratios and I've got law of vibration ratios. Let's look at the law of vibration ones, okay? Now I'm just going to look at those for interval one. So we're going to hide those. Okay. So if we look at this and we're back to a daily chart here, what I'm trying to do is take a look at prior interval ones to see if there is any kind of common vibration within them. So let's go back and take a look here in January 2022. And in this case, it looks like we had, well, let's just get anchored here. Where are we right now? We're at 125. So we're kind of looking for what do we think is going to happen in and around 0.25, 0.33. Okay. So what do we see is going to happen around 0.25, 0.33. So it looks like 0.25 the last time was a bit of a minor pivot, and then we got a bit of a counter trend move up into 0.33. All right. So what happened before then? Looks like a kind of in 2020, in June 2020, it looks kind of similar. Bit of a minor pivot at 0.25 and a counter trend move down into 0.33. And what happened in the prior instance? In November 2018, the overall trend was down here, but again, it looks like we got a minor pivot and like a 2 or 3 day rally, which ended just before the 0.33. And before that, trend was up. We had a counter trend rally that ended just after the 0.25. Okay. And then 0.33 is where that trend resumed. And is that it? That might be it. Come on, redraw. Yeah, I think that's it. Yep, that's it. All right. So the theme of 0.25 and 0.33 around here seems to be kind of counter trend, right? So if we take a look at the Venus interval as a continuation, and it's continuation of the major trend that started in number 6, right? Then counter trend would be up, right? So one of the things I'm looking at here is a likely counter trend move up, kind of weak move up here into early September in this area, which 0.25 is September 1st, 0.33 is September 8th. And there's a lot of astrology energy around November 5th as well. So I'm going to be amending this to show a bit of a counter trend rally up into this area for the reasons we talked about. Let's go and find that path tool. And we can go from the close here, and let's put it up until about the 5th. Okay. Now, as it's counter trend, I don't think it'll be all that strong, but let's just take a look at Gann Fans here, and we can get a better idea of levels. Yeah, so wouldn't it be great if we came up and tapped the underside of this 1 by 1? That would be great. And yeah, so I kind of think that sort of makes sense here given everything that we're seeing. So we're going to abandon this green box. I'm going to keep it there and maybe add a note to it. We're just going to clone that box, and we're going to put a target up here. And we're going to target right around this 1 by 1. All right. So I might drag it up a little bit higher here just because I always seem to underestimate the magnitude here. So maybe we come up here to this support level. All right, so let's run with that for the forecast. Now, I hope you guys picked up on a couple things. Number one, the use of Venus intervals. Number two, the use of law of vibration ratios to subdivide the Venus intervals. Number three, just doing some historical back testing, looking at prior number ones. What is the personality of these interval ones? Are they big moves? Are they reversals? Are they continuations? So we determine that number ones tend to be continuations of the prior trend. I think after we get this move up here, we're going to get a big continuation down of this prior trend. We've already lost this magic level. We're below the 1 by 1, so our mindset should automatically be bearish. Yeah, that's the argument in favor of this. And the last piece in this argument is always like to look at the dollar. Now, the dollar, of course, has been on a tear since mid-July, going from 99.5 to about 104. And then it created this giant doji here. You can see also it's got a bit of a tendency to make highs on Gann Wave Blue, right? Last high over here was right around a Gann Wave Blue. Also made some solid double bottom here in March and April around Gann Wave Blue. Bottom line, it likes to turn on Gann Wave Blue, right? And we've got a Gann Wave Blue coming up. So I really think that the dollar's going to weaken, at least for a little bit. And it could weaken into, this area here. We've got Gann Wave Yellow. Could weaken for a solid, 10 days, 2 weeks maybe. So that's yet another argument, I think, for a counter trend move up, right? But I think ultimately it's just going to be a way to suck in the bulls before they rug pull the whole thing. But we'll see. We'll just take it level to level. All right. Now let's go do a quick tour of time trades. And we can take a look at what the machine learning is telling us. Machine learning for SPX is showing a big pivot low here, September 6th, September 7th, or sorry, pivot, not a pivot low. We don't know if it's going to be a low or a high. But what's interesting is how the probabilities of a move spike up here. It just kind of goes to show that the moves always go a little nuts right at the end of a cycle, as it moves strongly into a pivot. So our assumption, based on the logic we just shared, is that this is a move up into a pivot high, and then we get a reversal. Okay, so we can also take a look at NDX. NDX is showing a singular pivot low here on August 30th, and then a move up. It's kind of ambiguous around our target area of September 5th, 6th, 7th. There's not a lot happening there. What I do see looking ahead, though, is some big pivots and big moves afterwards in late October, and then moves in early November, which coincidentally coincides with the entry into Venus interval 2. So this looks like a very interesting trading opportunity coming up until October 30th. Okay, so that's NDX. We covered SPX. We can take a quick look at the Qs here. Qs showing a couple of pivots. We've got that pivot on August 30th, and then another one September 8th, and then another one September 14th, and just lots of energy in this area. So, but I think it's important that we understand that, given the personality of Venus intervals, it's not trending energy. It's going to be a lot of whipsaw energy. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. So it's probably a good idea to size down and maybe adjust your strategies a little bit, to maybe sell more options instead of buying them. All right, so we took a look at the dollar. We can take a look at what Time Trades is saying about the dollar. Now, this is super interesting. It's forecasting a pivot here on August 25th. Now, even though August 25th was Friday, we don't know that this is a pivot, right? So this is, even though that's in the past, when it comes to pivots, this is a forecast, right? This is not a historical fact, because the system has no way of knowing that just this point is a pivot. But I think, using our human brain, we can take a look at, the price action here, the proximity to prior reversal points, the use of Gann waves, the doji, everything looks like it's ready to reverse, which brings me to gold. And gold loves Venus interval 1s. So if we go back and take a look at gold over here, we can bring it up with Venus interval 1. That's DX. Let's bring up GC. And if we zoom out to a weekly, we can see how the prior interval 1 pumped from 1780 to 2078, so about $300. And then before that, the pump went from 1672 up to 2090, so about $400 on gold, so about 25% move. Now, not every interval 1, of course, is that has that style of move. Here's some smaller ones back here in 2018 and 2015, but even the smaller ones, it tends to go up, right? I don't think there's any Venus interval 1 that we've seen so far on this gold weekly chart that has not gone up. So pretty good risk reward here on gold. Full disclosure, I'm long some nugget to take advantage of that. I think if the dollar reverses the way we think it's going to reverse, it should be a good couple weeks here for gold and other commodities. All right, so what do we see on the time trades forecast? We see a nice ramp up of moves, and then near the end of that ramp, we see pivots. This is really good. So this looks like we could get, based on all the other puzzle pieces we've looked at, we could get a nice move up here in gold ending mid to late September. Okay. All right. And let's do a quick look at Bitcoin before we tie things off. All right, so when it comes to Bitcoin, we see a nice ramp up in the moves, and we're getting much cleaner forecasts now on Bitcoin. The forecast on Bitcoin used to be really sort of flat and muted and not really telling us anything, but I think some of the recent machine learning adjustments I made have really helped out with Bitcoin. So we see a nice move up. We see a pivot here September 9th, okay? And then got to give a shout out to Time Trades user Asley, who's built this amazing analog that just continues to work week in and week out. So this is a 4-hour chart of Asley's work, and if you're not following her on Twitter, please do. She does some great stuff by building actual proper analogs by lining things up on lunar cycles. Yeah, here we go. The bottom is the analog from September 2021. The top is now 2023, 4-hour chart. Looking for a low pretty much yesterday. That was Friday, the 25th, a little move up. And then hopefully by the end of the weekend, we see the final bottom before we get to see this move up here coming up out of that. Now, who knows what the price is going to be? Probably won't make it all the way to 46 like it was in 2021, that's for sure. But 36 is not out of the question. Anyways, let's see what happens with Bitcoin. The analog and the time trades forecast are lining up real nice. Okay, so that's it for me. I hope you like this new format. Give me any feedback you'd like. And as always, manage your risk, trade safe, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.